The difference between a good friend and a great one is that a great friend will tell you when you're giving too much. Kindness is a beautiful thing. It's what makes us human, the ability to empathize, to uplift others, to show compassion even when it's not required. But what happens when that kindness becomes your weakness? When your open heart becomes a bullseye for manipulation, exploitation, or disrespect? Let's talk about the side of kindness that no one wants to admit, the fact that sometimes it makes you a target. It starts innocently. You help someone out even when it inconveniences you. You say yes when you want to say no, because you don't want to seem rude, selfish, or ungrateful. You tolerate bad behavior because you understand where they're coming from. Before long, your boundaries blur, and people begin to expect your kindness, not appreciate it. People who want to be liked by everyone are willing to sacrifice their own needs, which eventually leads to resentment. Here's the hard truth. Not everyone values kindness. Some people see it as weakness. They see your softness not as strength, but as something they can take advantage of. The more you give, the more they take. Not out of malice necessarily, but because you've taught them that your yes comes cheap, that your time, your energy, your patience, it's all up for grabs. You become the reliable one, the forgiving one, the one who won't mind. But deep down, you do mind. You start to feel drained, overlooked, and even resentful. And the worst part? You start to blame yourself. But this isn't about becoming cold or unkind. It's about becoming clear. Being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. It doesn't mean overextending yourself, sacrificing your peace, or enduring toxic behavior just to keep the peace. True kindness has limits. It has self-respect. It knows when to walk away. You don't realize it at first. The little favors, the constant availability, the way you bite your tongue just to keep the peace, it all seems like the right thing to do. After all, you were raised to be kind, respectful, giving. You were told that being nice is the key to being loved. But slowly, you start to notice the imbalance. People begin to expect your kindness, not appreciate it. Your silence becomes permission. Your willingness turns into obligation. And soon, your relationships feel less like mutual connections and more like quiet transactions, where you're always the one giving more. This is where kindness turns into a trap. If you avoid conflict to keep the peace, you start a war inside yourself. What many don't tell you is that kindness without boundaries invites exploitation. It signals to the wrong people that you're easy to manipulate, that your empathy is a loophole they can exploit to their advantage. And they will. Not always with cruel intent, but simply because you've made it easy for them. And the more you keep giving, the more they keep taking. This cycle wears on you. You begin to feel invisible, not because people don't see you, but because they only see what you do for them. They don't see the emotional labor, the exhaustion, the quiet resentment building behind your smile. That's when the guilt creeps in. You want to stop, to reclaim your energy, to say no. But it feels selfish. You worry about being seen as cold or uncaring. So you keep pushing your limits, hoping someone will notice your tiredness and offer you the same kindness in return. But the truth is, you're the one who has to draw the line. No one else will do it for you. People treat you based on what you allow. And if you continue to allow your kindness to be mistaken for passivity, you will continue to attract those who take more than they give. Kindness does not mean surrendering your needs. It does not mean sacrificing your mental health or your dignity. True kindness includes yourself. It means saying no when necessary. It means protecting your peace, even if it means disappointing others. You are not here to be everything for everyone. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to choose who gets access to your energy. You are allowed to stop being the emotional dumping ground, the one who always understands, the one who never asks for anything back. Because your kindness is powerful, but only when it's intentional, only when it comes from a place of self-respect rather than fear, only when it's balanced by the ability to walk away from people and situations that drain you. The shift begins when you stop associating kindness with obligation. You start realizing that it's okay to say no without a long explanation. That it's okay to not pick up the phone every time it rings, to not reply immediately, to not drop everything for someone who wouldn't do the same for you. It feels uncomfortable at first. There's guilt, even fear. You may worry that people will think you've changed, and they will, because you have. You're no longer handing out pieces of yourself for the sake of keeping others comfortable. and some will resist that. They'll call you distant, selfish, or cold, not because you are, but because you've stopped being easy to use. Being nice is not the same as being good. Being good often requires saying and doing things that are uncomfortable. When you start to choose yourself, the world doesn't stop demanding from you, but you stop feeling obligated to answer every call. You begin to filter, to pause, to ask yourself, does this request honor me, or does it drain me? That simple moment of reflection becomes a shield. It's not selfishness, it's self-respect. And slowly, your relationships start to shift. Some fade, others grow stronger. The people who stay are the ones who never expected your kindness to come with a price. They're the ones who notice when you're tired, who don't just take but give, who understand that love isn't measured by how much of yourself you're willing to sacrifice. You realize that not everyone deserves access to you, and that doesn't make you unkind. It makes you clear. It's a powerful turning point when you finally understand that your value doesn't lie in how much you give away, but in how much you protect what matters. And that includes you, your time, your energy, your peace, your heart. And the more you honor yourself, the more your kindness becomes something sacred, not scattered, not lost, but placed with intention. Not everyone will appreciate that, but the right people will. When you say yes to others, make sure you are not saying no to yourself. You start to see it in everyday life, how your kindness can quietly open the door for others to take more than they give. Maybe it's at work. You're the one who always stays late, picks up the slack, helps others meet their deadlines. At first, you're praised for being dependable, but over time, your willingness becomes expectation. No one asks if you're okay or if you're overwhelmed. They just assume you'll handle it because you always have. Or maybe it's in your family. You're the emotional glue, the one everyone calls in a crisis. You're always available, always listening, always giving advice or support. But when you need something, when you're struggling, the phone stays silent. It's not because they don't care, but because they've come to believe you never need help. You've taught them that your role is to give, not receive. Then there's friendship. The friend who constantly unloads their problems onto you, who disappears when things are good but reappears the moment they're in trouble. You listen patiently, offer comfort, rearrange your day to be there. But when you're the one who's hurting, they're suddenly busy. Or worse, they change the subject. And let's not ignore relationships. Maybe you've been the partner who always forgives, who avoids conflict, who tries to be the bigger person. You smooth things over, excuse bad behavior, give second and third and 10th chances, all in the name of love. But love without boundaries becomes imbalance. And slowly, you lose your voice, your standards, and sometimes your self-worth. These are the quiet ways kindness becomes a target. When people stop seeing the person behind the giving and only see the benefits they receive. But once you recognize the pattern, you can begin to rewrite it. Thank you for taking the time to explore these ideas with me. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more explorations into life's deepest questions. Until next time.